Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today will be big box store plant shopping at Lowe's out in Plano, Texas. As always, please make sure you're hitting the like button for this video, as well as following me on Instagram. My Instagram name is @GrowFolds. That is the fastest and most direct way to get in touch with me directly. If you have any questions about the plants that I'm featuring, I do daily 1-hour plant shopping videos with a live premiere chat. If you're able to join it, that would be amazing. Typically, I premiere my videos at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. As you can see here, plant foldies, and for those that are new to the channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. My name is Richie. Welcome to the channel. It is a late afternoon, early evening run to the Lowe's off of Plano, Texas, and you can see that it is about to get dark, but I wanted to see what types of plants that they had available here. I had an urge to go shopping for plants. You already know that I'm trying to control my budget, but before we get into the plants, I did want to announce that I am part of a plant podcast show called The Cultivation Corner with Janae Simone and Stephen of I Live Plants. We will be premiering season 2. Yes, season 2 on February 18th. That is a Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I hope you all will tune in for that. And if you haven't watched season 1, definitely go to the Cultivation Corner YouTube channel and watch season 1. We have 5 episodes talking all about plants. So definitely check that out. But right now, I am going to go into this Lowe's, and this is another one of those big box stores in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I am based out in North Dallas, where it is fairly stocked often, and it has quite a bit of plants selection. So I am just gonna go pan around here, give you a just a walkthrough and just show you the plants before I start delving in and talking about the plants. So definitely check out the plants. Let me know in the comment section what plants you like. Just from an initial walk through here, you can see plant foldies that they do have quite a bit of plants. I wish I would have been able to get here early morning because I know that the lighting would be a lot better. This is one of those Lowe's that has a separate like indoor tropical sort of greenhouse. Sometimes Lowe's will have them in the store, but this one gets a lot of natural light. So you'll see that there are a lot of really healthy looking plants. Now, this is another Lowe's that tends to have a lot of Hedera helix, or what you call the Hedera helix or English ivy. So we'll take a look at that. I remember seeing like 13 varieties of English ivy. And for those that are new to the channel, I hope I'm not scaring you off by saying that, but I do mispronounce Hedera helix or the English ivy. There is a long history when it comes to that channel, but basically it is a plant that I absolutely love, but does not love me back. It's kind of like calatheas, where it's just so challenging to grow indoors. But as you can see right here, all of these beautiful plants that we have in plant foldies, I am really trying to find ways to just get more funds to feed my plant addiction. I mean, I think that I am full-blown plant addiction because I just cannot stop buying plants. I have tried my very best, and I think it's because I'm often at a big box store. I'm just kidding. I have been able to kind of reel it back. But as far as the plants at this Lowe's, you can see right off the bat, we do have some African violets here. I do have a couple of African violets, and the thing about African violets is if you can give them a lot of bright indirect light, this one is for $5.48. Whenever you water African violets, I would not water them from the top. I would actually bottom water them. And to do that, you would just take a saucer, fill it with water, and stick the planter or the pot into it, and it will just absorb the water through the drainage holes. The reason why you want to bottom water African violets is because they are just more susceptible to rotting if you keep their leaves wet. So just a little tip on that. And then you can see right over here, they have a better grow plant. This one is a bromeliad, a Schefflera moondrop, and a philodendron hederaceum Brazil in sphagnum moss. This is one of those container planters, and it seems like there is a slight trend of just mixing and matching tropical plants in a planter. If you're going to ask my opinion, I'm not the biggest advocate for that. And the only reason being is I prefer to just focus specifically on one plant in a planter. I almost look like, I almost treat plants almost like paintings, where if you have a painting, you want to just have like a very minimalistic canvas. So the planters and just mixing it up, it just tends to kind of distract me from really enjoying the plant. Now over here we have a Peperomia obtusifolia. This one is by Live Trends Designs, and I'll tell you, plant folies, Live Trends Designs is one of my favorite planters. Their series of planters is very modern, very stylish, very sleek, and it's just affordable as well. So these self-watering planters, I believe, are for $16.98. This one is a ZZ Zenzi plant. So ZZ plants, they are probably the easiest house plant you can grow indoors, and the reason being is they are super drought tolerant and they're low light tolerant. The only problem with like the compact version that ZZ Zenzi is it's a very slow grower. Here is another self-watering planter. This one is a philodendron moonlight. Love philodendron moonlight, and what I love about it is it's number one, an easy to care for plant, and number two, it is beautiful in a sense that it is a neon colored plant. And then right over here is another I believe urban jungle planter. This one is a Pachira aquatica stump, or what you call a money tree. This one is for, I believe, $24.98. Beautiful Pachira aquatica stump. I prefer this versus the braided form. Really like the look of that as well. And you know, as far as money trees or Pachira aquatica, they are believed to give good luck. And then you already know plant foldies. It is a grow folds video, so I will be talking about Aglaonema. You already know I am on a huge campaign to just talk about Aglaonema every day, all day, until we get a lot of people excited about them. This one is an Aglaonema Silver Bay in a self-watering planter. So whenever you put an Aglaonema in like a self-watering planter, I tend to put mine in semi-hydroponics, specifically LECA. Its care becomes substantially even easier than what it is already. And then this urban jungle planter right here is another philodendron moonlight. Now this one is for $13.98, which I believe is a really good price when it comes to like planters and the plant itself. Here's the thing about big box store plant shopping. We talk about how to save money all the time. I'm pretty sure anybody watching my plant shopping videos has a plant budget. Now, if you don't have a plant budget and you feel like you want to support this channel, you can always drop a monetary tip or what you call a super sticker or super thanks in the live chat or in the comment section. There is a button that says the $sign, but any potential super sticker definitely helps me out in terms of my funding for my supplies to make these videos, the effort I put in. Obviously, plant foldies, please enjoy the free content. Do not feel obligated to drop a super sticker. But hey, if you don't have a budget for plants and you want to help me out, that would be awesome. I'm just kidding. But seriously, to go back to like plants like this, like Peperomia obtusifolia variegata, $13.98. The great thing about these plants is when you go to big box stores, you have a selection of plants that you can pick from. The thing about it is, you have to you have to really compare and contrast plants. I would always suggest to either window shop, where you're just comparing the plant pricing, because the natural notion is to believe that big box stores have the most cost-effective pricing, or the most cheaper plant. They're just cheaper plants, but that's not always the case. Sometimes local nurseries, for instance, like one of my favorite nurseries called Pothos Planters out in Dallas, Texas, has cost-effective pricing that rival or even do better than big box stores. And just a slight announcement, Pothos Planters is now shipping on their websites. I believe it's pothosplanters.com. Check it out if you want to go order planters from her. Her handmade planters are amazing. They're 3D printed, and she can now ship. So definitely check that out. But to go back to just how to save money on plants, compare and contrast plant pricing, especially if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Please make sure you are subscribed to this YouTube channel with the notification bells on, all notifications. So if you have a second to just check it, if it says personalized notifications, you're not always going to get the update. So you want to switch it to all notifications, plant foldies. Make sure you double check that so you're always in tune with that. But it would really behoove anybody that is, especially in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, to be subscribed to the channel, because then you will know all of the local current prices for these plants. But those Monstera deliciosas, the juvenile form, those are for $24.98 by Live Trends. And I did want to show you all of the beautiful Phalaenopsis orchids and different types of orchids. Lowe's has gotten some Vanda orchids and all these Dendrobium orchids, Phalaenopsis orchids. I do need to spend a little bit more time learning about orchids. I do find them beautiful. And as far as the Phalaenopsis orchids, I've been told by some plant foldies that their blooms can last for more than a month or two. So that's really awesome. I'm literally waiting for my variegated Phalaenopsis orchid to rebloom again. We'll see what that looks like. But care tips for Phalaenopsis orchids, or orchids in general: bright indirect light as far as their substrate. Make sure that you're only using like orchid bark. They are epiphytes, so basically they do not grow in soil. They just kind of attach themselves on trees and kind of hang, and that's it. As far as Phalaenopsis orchids, or orchids in general, their roots are very susceptible to root rot from overwatering. So a little bit of neglect actually goes a long way for a Phalaenopsis orchid. Sometimes when we are helicopter plant parents, where we're literally checking their soil, we're fertilizing them, we're watering them, we're checking for pests, we're doing everything we can possibly do to accelerate the growth and keep it healthy. Sometimes there's a little bit more damage that is done. Like I said before, with plants, really it's less is more. Fertilizer, for instance, I microdose my plants. I tend to just put like a quarter of a dose of what the fertilizer does, so I can do a little bit more frequent watering versus just doing one massive fertilizing watering session. So right over here is one of my favorite plants. Again, this is a larger version of a Philodendron Moonlight. This one is by Urban Jungles. That one is for, I believe, $21.94. So plant pricing can fluctuate, but that's the thing about going to these big box stores is you can either find really good deals through like clearance pricing, or just by seeing which big box store or local nursery has plant pricing. I have basically memorized quite a bit of the plant pricing, so I kind of know what market price is for the plant, what the markup is, and just what value I'm getting for the plants. And for me, a lot of our plant foldies, I'm sure, watch my plant shopping videos to see, plant pricing, obviously to hear about the plant care, to maybe just listen to me ramble about non-planty things. I do appreciate everybody who really tunes into my content and accepts me for my authentic self, because I tend to just kind of talk about things, whether it's pertaining to my life or just plants in general. Plants are definitely a huge part of my life. I feel like if I didn't have plants in my my life, I would be a little bit more anxious. I'd be a little bit more stressed. Plants are definitely a mental health exercise. It definitely keeps me grounded. And for those that struggle with like anxiety, stress, depression, I urge you to really just practice mindfulness by having plants around your space. That greenery alone will really help calm you down. At least for me, you know, having a very stressful job that I work at least 10 hours. I actually am working this weekend and it's already super busy. But in terms of just all of these plants right here, I can go back home and I can tune into the plant foldies when I'm able to get on the live premiere chats. And I promise you, if I'm able to get on the live premiere chats, I will definitely talk to y'all. But just the community in general of Grow Folds, you guys are really helping grow this channel. I love the engagement. I cannot thank you all enough for just messaging me on Instagram, leaving comments on the comment section, and just interacting with each other on the live chats, whether I'm on it or not. It's just really spectacular to see. Now, as far as the plants here, you can see plant foldies that there is a plethora of plants to choose from. We've got some bromeliads here. This one is for $10.98. Really nice looking bromeliad as well. And the thing about it is, bromeliads have a very diverse range of colors, styles, and textures, and that's something that I had to learn. When I first started doing big box store plant shopping, I used to ask what was the whole allure of bromeliads, and so for me, it's all about getting yourself exposed to plants that you may overlook. And that is really a lot of the intent of my plant shopping videos, or the plant content I make on a daily basis, is to show y'all different types of plants, to give you a different type of lens in terms of just how you view plants. And so, you know, I've been on this aglaonema kick where literally every aglaonema I can find, I really want people to see it, because plants are definitely, you know, stress relievers, but plants can also create a lot of stress and anxiety. Plant burnout is real. We have this excitement, right? We go into this big box store and we want to buy all of these plants. And then all of a sudden you have more than 100 plants and you are really struggling to keep up with them. Then you see spider mites, then you see mealybugs, then you have all of these fungus gnats flying around your home, and you're trying to find ways to mitigate the plant collection and just having those issues. So for me, I would just tell you that it's better to start off slow whenever you're buying plants, and then also be a little bit more selective of all the plants you want. I mean, I am really trying to do that. I mean, I would love to buy that philodendron heteracea, beautiful green color, or even another epipremnum aria marble queen pothos. Now these are not a bad price at all. These are urban jungle ceramic hanging basket planters. Look at that variegation. There are some plants that I do have multiples of, and that would be something like, you know, an aglaonema or any pothos plant. If it's an easy to care for plant, I would tell you that that is okay to have multiples of, because you're not having to invest so much care. It's when you start getting into more of the challenging plants to grow, and a lot of times plants are more challenging to grow because we don't necessarily have the right environment. You know, to kind of quote a plant influencer and friend of mine, his name is the Plant Poppy on Instagram, he mentions that it's really the environment we place our plants in that really dictates whether the plant is going to be successful or not. It's how we you know, assimilate the plant or actually get us close to the plant's environment. I remember listening to a speaker at the Texas Aeroid Show, and if you guys haven't seen a plant show, definitely check out the Texas Aeroid Show plant videos that I have. I also have tons of Plant Con 2024 videos, both Houston and Dallas. But there was a speaker that basically mentioned, if you're unaware of the plant care tips for a plant, Google search it, or search online a picture of the plant in its natural habitat, and it will really be a telltale you know, idea of what the plant needs. So say if you Google a succulent and it's in a more drier environment, it's in a more desert setting, for instance, then you know that it's going to need fast draining soil, water when the soil is completely dry, and probably either lots of light or full on sun. But as far as all of the plants we're seeing here, like this one, so I'm a little tempted here. This is a philodendron brantianum, and the price is not bad at all. That is only for $15.98. Beautiful silver foliage. Philodendron brantianum can be grown as a trailing plant or if you grow it as a plant that's climbing up a pole, a moss pole, some type of support, and the aerial roots attached to it, it will get massive leaves. At the nursery that's really not known in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it's called the Plant Keeper. Most people assume it's a wholesale nursery, but if you go in there, that is a hidden jungle. They have totems of Philodendron brantianum with leaves of the size that are like 2 feet in length. So really interesting. And if I'm going to buy bromeliad, I would definitely buy this one, because look at the colors. I love the pink on it. I love the striping. It's just a very stunning plant, and it's another plant that for the most part is easy to care for. Now, as far as bromeliads, I'm thinking if I'm going to grow a bromeliad, I would do some plant styling and actually mount it, so I can actually mount it and hang it on a wall versus growing it on like a shelf. So that's just for me. And then you can see right here, this is another Vanda orchid, and look at the blooms. There's been a lot of Vanda orchids popping up at Lowe's, and I'm so tempted to purchase a Vanda orchid. But the thing about it is, if I'm going to get a Vanda orchid, I would have to have the space and the right environment for it. They do require quite a bit of light, more so than a typical orchid. And then you can see right here, we've got some more bromeliads. But we'll just walk around and I'll show you what other plants they have here. We've got a lot of hanging baskets right here. This is a Philodendron heteroraceum. This is just a green form, $20.84. We've got an Epipremnum aureum, golden pothos, and then we have another Philodendron right here. Now this one is another Philodendron heteroraceum, just the green version, I believe. No, actually it's the neon version. I apologize about the lighting, so it's gotten darker, so the lighting may not be the best here. That is the only thing about night shopping at this particular Lowe's, is that there's not any like artificial light to kind of light up the space. But this is a really nice plant find. So it looks like that Costa Farms has released more hanging baskets of Monstera celtipicana, or what they call the silver Monstera. Beautiful plant. I do think that if you grow this on a totem pole or moss pole, the leaves will definitely get larger. I'm not 100% sure if it'll fenestrate. For those that are aware of this type of plant, leave in the comments if it'll fenestrate, but this is for $20.84. I have one, and look at how it's already trailing. It's a very easy plant, and I am surprised that it's actually more drought tolerant than you think. Because I haven't watered mine for quite a while, and it's still doing okay. And then this one right over here is another Monstera celtipicana. Let me know in the comment section, plant foldies, if you grow Monstera celtipicana, or what plants you would buy from all the plants I've shown so far. And if you made it this far into the video, plant foldies, please press that thumbs up button, that like button. It definitely helps me out in terms of just pushing this content out to more plant lovers like yourself. And I would really love for you to leave a comment in the comment section. I do see like more than 50 plus people watching the videos. I would love to see more comments for those that tune in. I love to hear your thoughts about plants, and I do look forward to that. That's a lot of the reason why I make shopping videos, or plant shopping videos, or make plant content, is because I want to hear about your plants. I want to hear your questions. I want to just be able to engage with y'all. So definitely leave that in the comment section. I will respond to everybody's comments, whether it's positive or negative, unless it's just outright rude. Thankfully, this community has been very kind to me. There's just a couple of comments here and there where I guess some people just have a problem with me being faceless, or more so on the cultivation corner, where I am on the channel, but I have like masks just to remain faceless. The only thing that did really slightly bother me, or maybe did bother me, is the fact that somebody said that it was very disturbing to see me in a mask and they couldn't watch my content. And I'm okay with that. To each their own. Everybody is entitled to go about their business the way they want to. But for those that really appreciate just the content I'm creating, it's not about me. It's more so about the plants with just a little bit of about me. So I did want to thank all of the plant foldies that have left some positive comments, and also words of encouragement to continue to do that. That's the thing about social media. It's a very powerful tool. It is a platform that can be utilized for such positivity and to really get a good message out there. But it can also be a very toxic and negative environment. What I've learned is you have, as a content creator, you have the ability and power to share what you want to share with the public. I think that sometimes once you go on social media, people will dub it as a public forum. Therefore, they can demand whatever they need from you. And that is not the case. We still have a choice. And I always encourage people in terms of just social media etiquette. And I say this because everybody is so kind and positive on this community. And I hope that continues to be that. But I always tell people, think before you click. Think about what you are writing to somebody you may have never met in person. Would you say that to somebody that was their loved ones, their brother, their sister, their mother, or more so even my grandmother? I would always exercise that, because kindness is free. We need more kindness in this world. We also need more philodendron heteroraceum neon. Look at that. It is so beautiful. I'm tempted to buy this. And this is what happens, right? We'll find a plant that is just stunning, and we already have this. Like, I have an 8-inch hanging basket by Costa Farms, but even these urban jungle ceramic planters, what I love about that plant, again, is just the yellow coloration. Now, in order to maintain or promote that yellow coloration, we have to provide it with lots of bright indirect light for it to really do well. So you have to keep that in mind. And then in terms of just the golden pothos, easy to care for plant, please add that to your plant collection. And then we also have a Monstera deliciosa. This one is an urban jungle planter. It almost looks like a Live Trends design planter. I love juvenile forms of Monstera deliciosas. And if you really want to see some great Monstera deliciosas, you have to go watch my friend Janae Simone's YouTube channel. She has so many Monstera deliciosas, which she gives names to. I may start to name my plants. We'll see. But the thing about naming plants is you get a little bit more attached, because then it becomes like almost like a living person. This is another philodendron. I believe this is either a philodendron Macaulay's finale. Yeah, it might be a Macaulay's finale. Beautiful philodendron again. And as far as philodendron, the solid colored ones, especially the neon varieties or the dark foliage ones, I prefer. Although there are more trending ones, obviously, like the variegated plants. But here's the thing about variegated plants. They're not only more expensive, they might actually be harder to grow long term, as compared to something as overlooked like this. This is a common plant. This is a Dracaena warneckii as well. Beautiful plant. Look at the striping on the leaves. And this one has a beautiful planter. This one is by Live Trends Design, $22.94. And then I love these terracotta planters. This one is another beautiful specimen of a philodendron moonlight. Now, as far as philodendron moonlight, please make sure that you're just watering the plant when it's completely dry. Give it bright indirect light. This one, in order for it to remain that neon color, has to have bright indirect light to do well. And then over here we have, look at these aerial roots. We have another Vanda orchid. You can see that is another hybrid. And I'm going to pan away and just kind of show you this, and look at how gorgeous that flower is. I swear, whenever a big box store does a restock of plants, my initial notion is I have to buy it. It becomes a want or a need. Usually becomes a need, but then I have to really talk myself out of it. So I have to ask plant foldies, whenever you're plant shopping, do you just like get the notion to want to buy the plant as soon as you see a brand new plant? Now, as far as plants that are easy to care for, here is one of my recommendations again for something that's not going to give you stress. This is a Peperomia obtusifolia, very durable plant. And then obviously the classic Marble Queen Pothos. And I will ask this question. I will ask it in every single video because I never know if there's going to be a new one, a new like subscriber here. How do you pronounce Pothos? Do you say Pothos or Pothos, or do you say Epipremnum aureum? Please leave that in the comment section. Like I said again, I just love just hearing all of your plant insights. I find so much value just hearing from all of y'all. And I also find a lot of value in this plant. This is the first time I've ever seen a ceramic planter by Urban Jungles. This is a Syndapsis exotica. It has larger leaves. I'm actually tempted to buy this. This is for $22.94, and I am trying not to get into a rabbit hole in terms of Syndapsis. I love Syndapsis because they are very similar to the Epipremnum aureum or Pothos plant. They can be trailing plants, or you can grow them up a pole, a moss pole, to get larger leaves. This one generally has larger leaves, the Syndapsis exotica. Love the silver foliage. The thing about the Syndapsis series of plants, they are a plant that's a little bit slower in growth, and in terms of watering, it will definitely curl its leaves and become even more droopy, more pronounced than the Pothos plant if you do not water it consistently. So I would say Syndapsis can be more on the wetter side, so you can wait till the soil is completely dry, or you can wait until about a half an inch or an inch of the top soil is dry, and then you can water it again. But yeah, this is definitely a beautiful plant, and we have a lot of common but easy to care for plants here. So we have Pothos plants and Philodendron hederaceum Brazil. So we'll just keep walking around here, and I'll pull these plants out to show you. This one is a begonia red kiss in a 6-inch hanging basket. Now this one is I think it's like $16.98, but it is 50% off on clearance. So it's one of those situations where I could potentially go and rescue this plant, but I am on a plant budget, and unfortunately when it comes to clearance plants or plants in general, it's something that we are not able to just rescue every single one. Unfortunately, that is the case with plants that are at big box stores. They end up either going to Plant Heaven, they end up going becoming composted. So I feel like with these shopping videos that I do, maybe more of you guys will go out there, maybe shop, maybe we can consume more of these plants for our plant collection. I mean, because you can see right over here, Costa Farms has so many awesome exotic angel house plants right here. This one is for $5.98. This is a Peperomia Guinea, and what I like about Peperomia Guinea, it's more like a succulent, and if you sun stress it, the edges of the leaves will have this like red margin, so that's pretty cool. Pink Angel Fittonia. This is another beautiful plant as well. I eventually want to add in a Fittonia to my collection, but I am just afraid of the watering requirements for this particular plant. That's the thing about all of these plants, like even this Syngonium Maria right over here. Love Syngonium Maria. This one though, if you want the deep chocolate foliage, you want to give it a lot of bright light. Darker foliage plants like ZZ Raven, Philodendron, Black Cardinal, those types of plants, the more bright indirect light you give it, the better variegation or better coloration you're gonna get. That's just with a lot of these plants in general. And then as I spin around here, this particular Lowe's tends to have trays and trays of all of these exotic angel house plants, and they are just stunning. This one is a nice full pink angel Fittonia. I do apologize about the lighting in this shopping video because I am now, it's like nighttime here and it's gotten darker, so the lighting isn't the best. I hope to be able to visit this place maybe in another week or two. This Lowe's tends to get a lot of restocks in general, and take a look at this. So this is a Syngonium white butterfly. I think it's a white butterfly or maybe Syngonium holly. This is only for $16.98. It's only a 6-inch planter, but doesn't it look like it's an 8-inch hanging basket? This is because this particular hanging basket has been living its best life. What I've noticed about this Lowe's location is A lot of the plants that are in here have been growing in this location for a while, so they're not really declining in health. And I think it's because there is quite a bit of light that shines through here, and there is more consistent watering. The employees here take care of the plants, and that's just amazing to see. And then you can see right over here, this is another syngonium. Again, with syngoniums, I love them. They're very fast growers, and I think that's really why I'm attracted to syngoniums, is the fact that they are just very fast growers. But at the same time, if you do not stay on top of the watering, if you allow them to dry out completely for too long, they will decline in health very quickly. They will lose their leaves, they will get very leggy, and it's just downhill from there until you can actually like recover them. So for me, just knowing the way I am going about my plants in terms of just easy care plants, syngoniums are not the easiest care plant if you are somebody that doesn't have time to water. And that is a running theme in all of my shopping videos or just plant content in general. It's just the watering really takes time for me, and it's time that I don't necessarily have on a daily basis. I will ask all of the plant foldies tuning in. And again, I want to thank you if you are still watching this video. How long does it take for you to water your entire plant collection? How often do you water? And have you switched over to semi-hydroponic substrates? Leave that in the comment section below. Like I said, again, I just love that engagement that we have with each other in terms of just the plants that we're receiving and what we're buying and just that in general. I mean, it's exciting because every time I open up my Instagram, I get all of these direct messages from y'all, and a lot of you guys are actually sending me pictures of Aglaonema. And speaking of Aglaonema, check out this one. This one's actually a fairly uncommon one to find. This is an Aglaonema spathonema. So this one is a variety that is a little bit different than the typical Aglaonema. What I like about it is it almost looks like a philodendron heteroraceum, but with more narrow, longer leaves. I did buy my Aglaonema spathonema from this particular Lowe's. It is actually happy in the leca that I put it in. And that's the thing, again, if you guys are able to find leca and you actually place your Aglaonema in there, they will do just fine. Hydroponics, the reason why I say it is easier for me is, again, you just have to fill the water reservoir once the roots transition to semi-hydroponics. The thing about putting plants in semi-hydroponics, through the conversion, there is an acclimation period, and sometimes, and it's actually more common than what you would think, the plant will actually decline in health. The plant might end up getting a little bit leggy, losing some leaves. Have no fear, it's because it's just acclimating to its new environment, so it could take some time. But once the plant actually acclimates from the leca or being moved to leca or lechuza pond, it is going to be a lot easier to take care of. And that's what I really want to focus on, is easy care plants. And then over here, we've got another Hydra helix, or what you call a Hedera helix, and that is the correct way to say it for English ivy. And you know, the original plant foldies, the OGs that have been watching my videos for the beginning of this actual plant YouTube channel, my plant journey, sharing my my insights and my commentary, you already know that I was mispronouncing Hedera helix as Hydra helix. I just think Hydra helix sounds cool, and you know, some people might find it cringe. And what I've learned about just making, you know, plant content on a daily basis is you really have to have thick skin. You really have to stay true to who you are. And if you find it cringy, I can't really help it. I just like saying Hydra helix. Say it with me. Hydra helix. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna really stop because I feel like if it's in a live premiere chat, like I'll have like what 40 people watching and it'll drop down to 18. So let me not scare you guys. Let's just continue to talk about the plants. So this one right here, you can tell these Aglaonema red Siam at this Lowe's location have been sitting here and growing, because look at how much a growth these have. So this particular Lowe's, again, if you want plants that are fairly established, that have been growing in this type of environment, you definitely want to check out this Lowe's, which is off of in Plano, Texas, right next to I-75, and it's right next to like the Japanese dollar store called Daiso. I don't know if you guys shop at Daiso. Love it. And it's also next to a Walmart. Now this one right here is another Hydra helix. Now with the Hedera helix, I'm thinking I may end up getting one at some point, maybe in the springtime. And the reason why I say maybe in the springtime, I might have my plant collection under control. I might have a little bit more time. But then again, like I mentioned in some of my previous videos, I'm really contemplating about getting a dog. I have decided that I want to get a miniature schnauzer. I want to get a schnauzer and I want to name him Harvey. And I want the miniature schnauzer to be a chocolate schnauzer with like white eyebrows. So that's something that I'm looking for. We'll see if I get lucky to find him. But, you know, things that I have to consider by getting a dog is, number one, looking for plants that are not toxic. And then number two, just balancing my already busy schedule and actually having a dog, because everybody who is a dog parent knows that they're pretty much like children, and I have to really know that to balance it. Now, if I end up, you know, realizing maybe sometime in April or May that I may not have that time, I may just, you know, pull away from getting a miniature schnauzer. But I've really been set on getting me a little furry friend. Now over here, guys, plant foldies again, you can see that there are quite a bit of Costa Farms plants. The thing about Costa Farms, and what I can give Costa Farms credit, is whenever you are looking for a particular plant, Costa Farms is going to have it. Like this philodendron heteracea, or actually this is not a philodendron heteracea. This is a neon pothos, and I love neon pothos. That is my favorite pothos. This is in an 8-inch hanging basket for $20.84. And I urge anybody who loves pothos plants to actually get a neon pothos. It is a showstopper. It is an easy to care for plant. It is a plant that I would say will just bring you joy. I am really trying to get people excited. I'm really trying to get people looking at these easy to care for plants. I think more of us need to focus on that versus focusing on these rare or uncommon plants that will cost you an arm and a leg. So let's, you know, maybe focus our energies in that. And that's the reason why I have been heavily talking about aglaonemas. You can see that I do unboxing videos. I get a lot of my aglaonemas from overseas. Green Spaces ID has been super kind to me. I've also gotten plants from Art Garden Flowers. Ricky, my friend who is on Instagram, he also has a nursery out in Indonesia, and he typically shows his plants at like PlantCon. And speaking of PlantCon, I will be at PlantCon again, you know, for the Orlando PlantCon 2025, February 22nd and 23rd. I've got my plane tickets. I'm booked in the hotel the venue is. I just have to get the early access tickets because I do intend to film hours. And when I say hours and hours of plant content, it looks like you guys were really engaged with that. And I already have all of my aglaonema from, you know, Green Spaces ID pre-ordered and ready to go. So you already know I'm going to take more aglaonema. I think by the end of the year, or at least by the middle of the year, I'm probably going to have more than 100 different varieties of aglaonema. Super excited to do a houseplant tour. I'm definitely going to do a lot of aglaonema content, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't watch my videos if you're not an aglaonema fan. You're just going to get a little bit more of that. Obviously, I love all of the plants, and you can see right here, I'm just picking up lots of plants. This one is a purple waffle plant. This one is for $7.98. Purple waffle plant is a plant that needs to be watered consistently. You need to at least not let it dry out completely. It is a very thirsty plant. Very thirsty plants are just not really conducive to my plant care, and that's the reason why I stick to easy care plants like Pothos plants, Sansevieria. Speaking of Sansevieria plant foldies, I'll give you some more updates. So I will be getting another package from Green Spaces ID, but I do believe they utilize the same broker, which is plantshop.us. So they send an import, you know, a broker imports those plants and has like a business or a nursery that gets it ready to go and ships. Well, I believe Succulents Asia is also part of that, and I believe I will be getting my rare Sansevierias from Succulents Asia. If you or Asia Succulents, I think that's the Instagram. Please check them out if you really like some rare or uncommon succulents, Euphorbia, Sansevieria. Definitely take a look at that. I will be doing an unboxing video. I'm really thankful that they actually took some time to collaborate with me, and you can see that's another Hydra Helix. And then this one right here is a Pilea Dark Mystery. Beautiful silver foliage. Love that dark foliage. Anything that's silver metallic is really a good palette for my, color palette for my My plant collection, I do love pinks the most, so I would say pink plants and just dark foliage plants, neon plants, that is all about it. And speaking of neon plants, you can see we got two different types of philodendron heteroeciums, 8-inch hanging baskets by Costa Farm. That one is for $20.84. And then this philodendron heteroecium neon, what a stunner. And it's another plant that's fairly common to find, and it's one that if you are going to grow it in your plant collection, you must, and I say must, have really good lighting conditions for it to maintain that yellow variegation. And then you can see right here, this is another Hydra Helix. This English ivy is in a hanging basket. It just has English ivy. So this one by Costa Farms doesn't have a cultivar name for it. With English ivies, if I'm going to give you basic care tips, definitely make sure you water the plant when it is completely dry. Don't let it stay dry for too long. And then if you're able to give it more humidity, definitely do that because it'll repel any of the spider mites. And that's basically it. I would definitely spray your English ivy. Like this is the wonderful English ivy with neem oil spray consistently at least once a week. Every time I do a little watering of my plants, I actually just use We the Wild neem oil spray, and I just spray it. It doesn't really hurt the plant. If anything, you're just really preventing plant pests from getting onto the plant. I haven't had nearly as many plant pests as I've had in the past. It really does repel a lot of the mealybugs, which is what I really struggled with for a while. Sometimes the fungus gnats. So what I'll do is actually spray the soil substrate on the top of it to kind of get rid of any potential pests. So let me know in the comment section, plant foldies, what you do for your plant pest preventatives and what kind of products you use. I tend to like to use organic products that are not pesticides. I just feel like it's a little bit safer. I want to not add any more poison into my plant collection, and that's the reason why even using the systemic granules, it's a pesticide that you put in your soil. I'm not necessarily all about that. I just know that it does prevent like fungus gnats as well as thrifts and any other plant diseases or plant pests from it. Can we say that this is a gorgeous croton right here? Now, I know crotons are pretty much a love or a hate type plant. It's either you love them or you hate them. I absolutely adore them. They remind me again of my family's home country, which is the Philippines, because those plants become full-blown trees. Absolutely love them, and I'm a fan of that. And then again, here is another Hydra Helix. Lots of English ivy. And I'd want to ask plant foldies, do you have an English ivy in your plant collection? And if you do, is your English ivy doing well? Do you get spider mites? How do you grow it? I'm asking a lot of questions because just as much as I share you my plant commentary, my plant knowledge, my plant tips, I want to learn from you. And that's the reason why I also make these videos, because I'm trying to garner commentary and information from you guys, because I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all have probably more experience about growing plants than I do. I mean, my grandmother, she has decades worth of experience, more than half a century worth of experience in growing plants. And to me, I love learning from y'all. Just as much as I love teaching and giving you guys information, I want all of the plant foldies to look at plants like this. This Aglaonema Silver Bay, for instance, look at the price. Not bad at all, $27.98 for a 10-inch planter. Really easy plant to grow. It is a silver type plant, and this plant can really tolerate lower light conditions, which is what a lot of our homes may be naturally inclined to have, is more lower light conditions. So for me, get yourself plants that have these two types of characteristics: low light tolerant and drought tolerant. If you have those two qualities for a plant, then that plant can be pushed into what you call the easy care plants, and that would be the plants I would recommend. Plants that I would recommend obviously would be Aglaonemas, because they are both low light and drought tolerant. Sansevieria or snake plants, Epipremnum aureum to a certain extent. You don't want to leave them too dry too long. And ZZ plants, like this Raven ZZ right here, gorgeous plant. I actually have a ZZ plant growing in my bathroom that doesn't have windows, and it is doing just fine. I do have a Sansi grow light in there to give it a little additional light. And here's the thing, plant foldies, One other tip I would say is if you have a plant that's in a dark corner in your rooms or your space, you can always take that plant, you know, periodically, maybe once or twice a week, and put it closer to the window so it can get some light. It is okay to move plants to where they can get some light and be able to photosynthesize and feed themselves. So that's another tip that I kind of started doing, is just kind of rotating my plants, where some of my plants that don't get as much light will get moved to a bright area, and that has really helped with the growth as well. And then you can see right over here, plant foldies, just tons and tons of plants, more Phalaenopsis orchids. So I'm just going to pan around and show you what other plants they have at this location. And you can see plant foldies. We've got a Sansevieria superba. This one is for $15.98 in a self-watering planter. Love that yellow coloration on that snake plant. Very easy plant. With snake plants or Sansevieria trifasciata varieties, you want to make sure that you water the plant when the soil is completely dry. Do not overwater it, and do not underwater it, because if you underwater a plant where you let it stay in drought for too long, where the soil is dry for too long, the roots will actually get dry rot, and that's just gonna be the same as root rot. So I actually had that happen to an Aglaonema, which you'll see in a future video on how I am gonna try to rescue and save it by just repropagating it in leca. So you know, plant foldies, like I said again, I know I do daily plant shopping videos. I know you've seen these plants. I'm pretty sure you've heard some of the same commentary, but if you still like this type of content, I do want to ask everybody that's watching, can you check if you actually are not only subscribed, but if you check your subscription, are you subscribed with personal notifications or all notifications? I ask everybody to change it to all notifications so you will always be in tune with my new content. And I did want to show you this. So Urban Jungle is now releasing Alocasia cuprea for $13.98. And look at how gorgeous this is. So I do have an Alocasia cuprea that I put in lechuza pond. It's still acclimating to the actual substrate. I'm hoping that when I have a little bit more time to like consistently water it, or at least pay attention to it, that I can boost the growth for that. So we'll see what that all looks like in terms of the Alocasia cuprea. And then we also have an Alocasia dragon scale for only $13.98. So all of these fancy Alocasias, and look at how gorgeous that planter is. I swear, Lowe's just has some of the best selections of plants, and Urban Jungle has really elevated the quality of their plants, and especially the planters. I am a huge fan of terracotta planters. I do think that if you're going to just have like plants in all terracotta planters, that is so elegant, that's so classy, and it's just a beautiful look for your plants. So we'll see what that all looks like in terms of whether I'm going to just have all of my succulents or cactus in terracotta planters. I'm thinking I might do that, but we will see. I just have a lot of ideas. Honestly, my dream is to actually just have my own little greenhouse where I don't even have to grow plants in my home. I could just have a nice greenhouse, kind of like Steve's Lee's, where it's just a full-blown greenhouse, and we'll see what that all, looks like in terms of me just growing my plants. I also wish I could just get more Aglaonemas available. Like, I'm hoping in the next year or two, Costa Farms or somebody would really bring in a lot of these Aglaonemas that we see in overseas in Indonesia, because just all of the plants that you see overseas, they're just really gorgeous, but at the same time, it is a little bit expensive to get them. And, I've seen in the live premiere chats how, some people are interested in getting plants from overseas, but the shipping alone is quite expensive. This is a reason why, especially if you are a plant foldy that is local, I would either say connect with me. Maybe I could do an order from Green Spaces ID and include your plants, and we can split the cost on the shipping. But if you are not trying to get plants from overseas, you can always go to a big box store like Lowe's. Like this Lowe's, if you can tell, is super stocked. It's so packed with plants, and it's so packed with beautiful plants like this Epipremnum aureum marble queen. Gorgeous plant by Live Trends again, and I really love the look of that. I love that nice red ceramic planter that we have as well, and it looks like we've got some more hanging baskets that I'm going to show you right now.
You don't want my heart, you don't want my love, you just want me.
Here is another beautiful croton for $12.97. This is a croton petra. It's the most common croton, but I don't mind it at all because this croton is giving me all the life I need in terms of just a beautiful plant. And then Dracaena dorata for $12.98 in a 6-inch planter by Costa Farms. It's another plant that if you are beginning your plant collection, you can add that. That is an easy to care for plant. And if I could just buy up all of these Aglaonema golden fluorites, or what you would call Aglaonema golden papayas. These are trending tropical plants by Costa Farms. $19.84. And I just want to rescue all of these because I know some of them will end up, making it to plant heaven. I really do wish that they would either clearance these out. If these were 50% off, I would literally buy all of them. And truthfully, I want to start doing plant giveaways on my Instagram for like Aglaonema. I know that I will be doing a Monstera Thai constellation, and I do feel like there is going to be more of an interest for Monstera Thai constellations. But for me, I want to just continue to spread the love for Aglaonema. There's something about the plant that just really inspires me. I think it's the colors. I think it's the leaf shapes. I think it's the different varieties. And truthfully, it's also the fact that it is one of those underdog plants. It's one of those plants that you could see, like, if you were to look at an Aglaonema and then, compare it to a Monstera albo or some type of variegated philodendron, everybody will most likely go for that, or even a variegated alocasia. But if you're going to ask me which one I would choose, I would honestly choose an Aglaonema. Like, look at this one right here. This just has a beautiful coloration on it. And the only thing I would say about Aglaonemas is, somebody asked me this, do your leaves melt? yes, the leaves can sometimes get like fungus or like just get a little squishy, and that's because of a fungus type situation. So with aglaonemas, I would keep them on the drier side. I would definitely spray them with neem oil spray, and also I'm looking at trying to find fungicide type stuff to prevent my plants from doing so, because somebody did ask for updates on some of my aglaonema that I got from Green Spaces ID. The thing about it is, you know, when you first unbox them, they're in perfect condition, but you know, as they acclimate to the environment, and with me, I'm actually putting them in a substrate that they're not used to, which is semi-hydro, there is a lot of stress. And so it is common for the plant to lose some of its leaves. Sometimes I've even had some that just lost but like 2 more leaves, and then it takes a while for them to bounce back. So if anybody is worried about plants, especially when you receive them in the mail, especially when you receive them from overseas, it is normal for them to lose some of their leaves. Now, this is another aglaonema that has popped up and is restocked again. This one is only for $15.98, and I'm pretty sure Plant Foldies, if you have a Lowe's, your Lowe's will probably carry this. What I've noticed about Costa Farms and just big box stores is when they get a shipment of plants, they tend to have the same crop of plants. So I love this aglaonema. I actually have mine in leca. It is doing very well, and I love the white stems on it, and this one has several plants. That's the thing about aglaonemas, or whenever you go plant shopping for plants. Look for a plant that actually has multiple plants in one, because you can either propagate it through separation and you can actually save a little bit more money that way. I am tempted, like this plant right here, because it's got a good price, I would even buy it again. I don't mind having multiples of those plants. You know, if you're going to ask me my top 3 plants I could have multiples of, it would definitely number 1, aglaonemas, number 2, pothos plants, and then number 3 would be syngoniums. Even though I'm not buying or going after syngoniums like I used to, it's just because I just don't have, again, the time to just water the plants. Now, Epipremnum pinnatum, Baltic blue, that is another Epipremnum pinnatum I definitely want to add to my collection. Epipremnum pinnatums are really cool. I currently have a nice trailing Cebu blue pothos that is about 5 feet trailing from a hanging basket, and it's doing very well. Now with Epipremnum pinnatum, they're a little bit less drought tolerant, and they need a little bit more light than the Epipremnum aureum or pothos plant. So just keep that in mind. The Baltic blue though is really cool because you don't necessarily have to have a pole for it to start to fenestrate, which is really interesting. And then you can see right here more hanging baskets, which I'm just going to pick up and show you, and you just let me know in the comment section what you think of the plants that I'm picking up right now. The 6-inch planters are going to be $16.98. Plant Foldies, I really hope you've enjoyed the shopping videos so far. I know that a lot of us will spend time on the live chats or even during the comment section just having full-blown conversations. Just to remind everybody, this community, or the Plant Foldy community, is all about engagement with each other. So if you have any questions, if you want to share what your wins are for your plants, if you just want to be excited about your plants and you share that with the community, definitely leave that in the comment section. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is @growfolds, and share your plant pictures. I love to engage with you guys. It might sometimes take a little while for me to respond on Instagram, but on YouTube, if you leave a comment, you know that I'm going to respond to you as quickly as possible. But you can see right over here what a gorgeous sea of plants. I mean, this is a really packed Lowe's location, and I just love it. I am here for it. I am here for these aglaonema red siams again. I hope you guys will consider getting an aglaonema red siam. That one is for $15.98. It is a common plant, like I've said before, but common means that it's going to be easy care. Easy care means you're not going to be stressed. And when you're not stressed, you're probably going to have a better quality of life. I know for plants, and just even making YouTube content on a daily basis, you know, some people get a little bit worried about me overstretching myself and working to make this content. To me, it's really part of my daily routines. It's a way to ground me. It's a way to give me a routine outside of work. It's something that I really want to be productive and focus on. And, you know, from the feedback that you've given me as a community, I just feel like if this means it's a way for y'all to relax and just unwind after a hard day of work or a stressful time, then I am here for it. And we'll talk your ear off for at least an hour. Like I said again, plant foldies, if you made it this far into the video as I pick up all these gorgeous plants, please make sure you are pressing the thumbs up or like button for this video. Definitely check if you are subscribed, but with the all notification button check versus personalized notifications. And if you have a chance, leave some comments for me. You can see over here, I did pick up some Dracaenas. This is another Dracaena for $12.98 in a 6-inch planter. Now, here's the thing about Dracaenas. There are more compact varieties of Dracaenas. This one is going to grow to be a little bit larger. And for me, I would love large plants. The only large plants I'm going to start bringing into my plant collection, if I'm going to buy a large plant, is going to definitely be an Aglaonema. I do have 2 Monstera deliciosas. One Monstera Thai constellation I've had for a couple years that is about 5 feet tall, and I'm just gonna wait for these plants to grow. And you can see over here again, plant foldies. We've got a Calathea from Costa Farms. This one is for $15.98. Part of me really wants to add a Calathea. They are the biggest heartbreakers and just so hard, and it's because I think I just do not have the environment for them. I've heard some stories where some people have been able to successfully grow them, so I will tell you, you are the true expert. You are the plant master if you've been able to keep a Calathea alive for a long period of time. As far as other plants as well, that I wish I could grow, I would say there are certain alocasias that I would love to be able to grow, and it's great because now Lowe's is having like Urban Jungle and Live Transplants producing more alocasias to send off. Beautiful philodendron pink princess, and it's not because of the variegation, it's because I really do like that dark foliage. It's a philodendron urubescens, and I actually have a surprise to show you because I was able to find a large low variegated philodendron pink princess while shopping at a local grocery store. So I still have quite a bit of brand new content. I just have to have time to voice over and edit. So be excited for this coming week because I have all brand new content. I will, maybe pepper in a compilation or long playing marathon video that should be running for at least 2 hours. And I honestly do that because I want to make sure I have a video for at least everybody to gather and chat. That's something I do look forward to as well. And then over here is another Aglaonema trending tropicals plant. This one is an Aglaonema two-tone moonshine. Now this one has a little bit of leaf damage. This one, it looks to be overwatered. And so here's the thing about Aglaonema. If you overwater the plant, it tends to get quick root rot, and you can start to tell when it's happening because the leaves start to get a little mushy. So as far as Aglaonema, if you're going to grow them in soil substrates, keep them more so on the drier side. It's a little safer to do it that way versus watering them. And if you're going to put them in soil substrate, make sure that the Aglaonema is in a chunky, fast draining soil mix, more like a succulent mixture. And you can see there, that is a beautiful alocasia that I also have. That one is for $19.84. And I'm just gonna keep picking up some more of the plants and showing you what they have here. And then we'll finish off this plant shopping video soon. take a look again at a golden pothos right here in a self-watering 6-inch planter for $15.98. Highly recommend everybody getting a pothos plant. I have been taking several cuttings and rooting them in water, and I plan to just put them all the different types of pothos cuttings into one planter to have like a mixed pothos planter. So I think that that would be really cool. And as I pan away here, look at that merchandising of this Lowe's location. You can see I will pull up several versions of this Aglaonema two-tone moonshine. I actually have one and I was almost tempted to buy another one. That's when you know you love a certain variety of plants, when typically some plants are always either going to just be a want versus a need. For me, if I see an Aglaonema that I don't have in my plant collection, it's going to be a need. It was kind of like coleus plants over the springtime last year and summertime, where when I found a different variety of coleus plant, I just wanted to buy it all. But Aglaonema, I really do think it is going to be a staple for me. I would consider myself an Aglaonema collector, and I'm hoping that the plant foldies will be plant influenced into also getting more Aglaonema. And I did want to say, if you haven't tuned in to the Cultivation Corner Plant Podcast, we are going to be premiering again season 2, February 18th, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And at some point we will be doing an Aglaonema episode, so stay tuned for that. But I am just pushing all of these different types of Aglaonema on y'all. Like this one is really pretty. I do expect to get another Green Spaces ID import video up sometime next week, because I will be receiving my order, which I actually had a couple of other plant foldies go in on, so we can save some money on the shipping costs. But I will just continue to pick these Aglaonema up and show you. Let me know in the comment section what you think of the plants I'm showing you so far. And if you made any purchases this past weekend, share that in the comment section below as well. Tell you, everybody loves a Calathea orbifolia. I mean, it's got beautiful leaves, but those leaves don't stay beautiful in my care, unfortunately. And you could just see whenever there is a big box store that's just done well in keeping their plants fully stocked and organized, it'll look like this. Here is the classic Aglaonema Silver Bay, $15.98 in a self-watering planter by Costa Farms. And I'm going to line up all of the Aglaonema that is available at this Lowe's and show you how you can make a full-blown Aglaonema plant collection by just taking a trip to Lowe's. So you don't necessarily have to import Aglaonemas or get them overseas. I would say if you have Etsy, you can also purchase Aglaonema or different types of plants from the Green Escape. It's a really nice plant nursery out in Florida. Now, this is the first Aglaonema. This is the Aglaonema Maria. I have that one as well. It's a very consistent grower for me. And right next to it is the classic Aglaonema Red Siam, probably one of the most underrated, overlooked plants. Definitely buy one. We have another Aglaonema Spathonema right here. This is definitely a more uncommon one. And this one that we're going to be looking at is a Aglaonema two-tone moonshine. Love this as well. Beautiful plant. That's really, we've got some nice pink variegation and just splashes of white cream on it. And then we have an Aglaonema Silver Bay right over here. This Aglaonema can get very large as well. You know, all of these Aglaonema tend to be a slower grower. And then we also have an Aglaonema Golden Fluorite, or some people will call this the Aglaonema Golden Papaya. Either way, it is a gorgeous plant. All of these Aglaonemas we need to get in our plant collections. We need all the Aglaonema that we can buy, plant foldies. If you watch this video today, get yourself an Aglaonema, share in the comments section, and hopefully you've enjoyed my little plant shopping tour. This was a night video, and unfortunately the lighting wasn't the best. I will visit this place again soon, but for now, if you haven't already, please press the thumbs up or like button for this video. I'd really appreciate it. And then also subscribe to my channel at Grow Folds with all the notification bell on. This is Richie. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.